Okie dokie, boys and girls, it is day 282 of bulking to 75 kilos with calisthenics only. And I want to talk about how you can increase your leg gains quite dramatically, And I'm speaking from experience here, but it's by splitting up your leg day. This is a concept when it comes to upper body, almost everyone applies it. You have your push day and you have your pull day. Because if you try to do both on one day, one is going to suffer. You're going to go hard on push first, maybe, and then not have enough energy to spend on pull anymore, or vice versa. And the same applies for your legs. Your legs also have a push part, which is the quadriceps, and a pull part, which is the hamstrings. But for some reason, this concept of splitting the pull and the push for legs, it's not as widely used. Leg day is known to be the hardest day of them all, right? It's suffering and it's long and it's impossible to conquer, whatever the fuck, right? That's because you're doing your entire leg. Your leg is quite big, or maybe you have small legs, but you get what I'm saying, right? There is a lot of muscle to cover there. And just like with the upper body, if you spend a lot of energy maybe first on the pushing part, your quadriceps, afterwards you're going to have less energy to do the pulling part, your hamstrings. Or if you do your hamstrings first and you go really hard, you do like 8 hard sits, then your hamstrings are going to be completely done. Your glutes are going to be quite tired as well. And then afterwards, the squatting is going to be difficult. Something is going to suffer. Yesterday, I did almost 20 sets of not pistol squats. I almost did 20 sets of normal squats, right? Imagine if I had to do that after a complete hamstring day, or if I had to do a complete hamstring day after that, I would not have the energy to do it. So by splitting it up, you are separating the pull and the push in 2 separate days. You are allowing yourself to recover in between quite a lot, right? And you are able to spend more energy on each of those pull and push exercises. So yesterday I went very hard on the squats. I am super sore, right? But today, I'm fresh. I have energy again, right? I slept. I had food. There is some time in between trainings. I'm fresh to start on my hamstrings again, right? So I can make big gains on both of those muscle groups, which is in turn going to give you better gains, right? And that's what it's all about. So, if you feel like legs are your weak point, why not try it out? You're doing pull and push probably separately for upper body already. Well, it's the upper half of your body. Why not do it for the lower half as well, right? Where you have, push pull and then push pull basically. But one is for the upper, one is for the lower. I get this question asked a lot, like, what the fuck? Do you have a separate hamstring day? Like, like it's something weird, but it's not weird. Your hamstring is quite a big muscle. So I don't think it's weird to split it up. I think it's very beneficial, especially if you want to make leg gains. Now today, hamstring day, I'm gonna do pinky assisted Nordic rolls, just like last time, but I'm gonna aim for a bit more reps, actually for 5 sets of 12. Now, this is gonna be insanely difficult. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, but I'm gonna try my best. And basically, 5 sets of 12 reps, it's quite high volume for hamstrings. So the load, I guess, if you were to translate it to weight on the hamstrings, is going to be quite low. But I'm going to try and control the reps so that I can really, get a pump in my hamstrings. And if today's session goes as planned, then probably next time I'll be back to doing unassisted Nordic rolls, because I didn't do those in a while because I got injured in the tendon. But now I feel like, during this injury, I've been consistently doing the lower load stuff, and actually I feel like I'm stronger than I was before. So if today's goes as planned and my tendon feels healthy, then next time I'll be doing unassisted Nordic rolls and perhaps be even stronger than I ever was before, which is very exciting. So I'm gonna head outside and get started. 5 sets of 12. Let's go. All right, so I think It's 12 reps. I may have lost count in between, but I'm gonna try and do 4 more sets of this. It's very heavy, but not heavy, but tiring. You know, the reps themselves are quite light because I'm assisting myself with my pinkies, and when I do, you know, when my pinkies touch the ground, I am trying to pull them away slowly so that, you know, I'm basically trying to hold my entire weight with just my hamstrings, and then on the way up, that's when I push with my fingers, you know, to get back up there. And this is a very good exercise because you're basically forcing yourself to control the bottom part of the rep, which is the most difficult part, right? And you can't really cheat it very much because if you're, you know, going down, you don't want to go down too slowly because then you're going to break your fingers, you know. If you go down there with momentum and you put your fingers out there, you know, that's not a good idea. I think, you know, you might be able to go as far and say that it's a bad idea, you know. So the reps should be controlled. On the way up, it's a bit easier, so I go faster. But yeah, let's get 4 more sets, you know. Alright, fucking hell. I might have cheated a little bit on the last reps, but the pump is insane, so I'm not complaining. These reps feel good. I don't have any pain, so next time I'll be able to just do unassisted Nordics. I'm quite sure of it. So today I'm gonna do one final set for these Nordic rolls, but I'm not gonna do anything heavy. I'm not gonna do negatives. Instead, I'm gonna do one more set of index finger assisted Nordic rolls, so even lighter, but of course an insanely high amount of reps. And yeah, then we can move on to the second exercise. Alrighty, so in the end, with the index finger assisted Nordic curls, which are supposed to be quite a lot easier than the pinky assisted ones, I was not able to get to 12 reps, which indicates that the main sets were heavy enough. But nonetheless, now I'm gonna move on to the second exercise, and that's gonna be hip extensions. Now, hip extensions, the reason I'm doing this is because, well, I have a bit of an ache in my hip from pistol squatting too much, which I guess some of you guys warned me, but I didn't listen, and now I'm suffering the consequences. But I'm doing these hip extensions basically to strengthen my glutes, and also when I push myself up, you know, I'll be pushing myself into a stretching position, which is very safe, you know. When you're just stretching passively and you're allowing your body weight to push you into a stretch, you know, it can be dangerous sometimes, you know, especially when you're stretching an injured area. You don't want to aggravate it even more. But if you make sure that you have to use your own power to get into a stretching position, it's very safe, because if you don't have the strength to be in that position, you're just going to drop out of it again safely, which makes it an amazing way to basically stretch while being injured, I guess. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm using 26 kilos here. I'm going to push myself up on one leg, and then every time I hit the top position, I'll be stretching my hip a bit as well. And you know, one of the biggest successes, this is like unrelated to what I just said, but one of the biggest successes of yesterday's workout is that I woke up today and my hip didn't feel worse than the day before, you know. For me, squatting is what aggravates the hip. And yesterday I squatted a lot, but I adjusted my form to basically not aggravate my hip even more, to not make matters even worse. And until now, I had been failing to do that. Every time that I did a squatting workout, my hip would feel a little bit worse than the last time. And yesterday was kind of the first time that was not the case. So today my hip is feeling better than yesterday, and hopefully the trend can continue. But yeah, for now, I'm not rushing anything. Just like with these Nordic rolls, I was injured. I kept training patiently without making the injury worse, and I got out of it stronger than I was before. So if I just keep training patiently with this hip as well, it's gonna be the same case. But anyway, 3 sets, I think, maybe 4, but probably 3 of these hip extensions. And basically the goal here is to just get a little bit more reps than last time, because it's the same weight. It's gonna be probably the same sets. And yeah, all I can do to basically have a better training than last time is to add some reps. So that's what I'm gonna be aiming for. Let's go. All right, so that's it for today's training. It took a little bit less than an hour, which is not very long, but if you have to do hamstrings and quadriceps together in one day, I think if I combine yesterday's training time with today's, it'll be like 2+ hours, which, it's very difficult to concentrate for 2 hours and to give it your all, even when you're tired. So, I mean, of course, if you're doing leg day, like very long leg days as a way to get strong mentally as well, that's a very good thing, If it aligns with your goal, by all means, go ahead and do it. But if you're looking to maximize your strength gains in your legs, right, in the hypertrophy, I think it's very beneficial, and it will align with your goal to split up the push and the pull part, basically, so that you can concentrate on each of them. Yesterday, I did one sit every 2 minutes on the minute, right? So I would do a sit, and then the remainder of the 2 minutes would be my rest time. I did that for 18 sets, On sit number 18, I failed. If today, well, after that, I did sissy squats too, and then if I were to do today's workout after that, that's 6 more heavy sets of Nordic curls, or not heavy, but intense sets of Nordic curls, holy shit, I can't speak, and then 3 more sets of these hip extensions, also very heavy, right? Something is gonna be compromised, something is gonna be weaker, something is not gonna be getting the gains that it could have had, because, well, you only have so much energy to spend, right? But if you distribute the energy you are spending over multiple days, well, you have more time, you're gonna have more energy. And yeah, that can really benefit your training. But today's training, I'm very happy again, because, I don't know if it's because I'm doing all of these hamstring things and now also the hip extensions, but right now, like, my hip is feeling better than going into the workout. So I think the hip extensions might be helping. I'm not sure, but if there is even 1% chance that they are helping, they're certainly not harming me. So I'm gonna keep doing them. And, sometimes all you need to do to find out if something is working is to just go ahead and do it, right? Do it for a while. If you have effects, keep doing it, right? Throw something at the wall and see if it sticks, basically, right? You can say it in 100 ways, but that's also part of the Master Roshi training way, Train hard, study well, and eat and sleep plenty. I think for many people, the first one, train hard, and then the last two, eat and sleep plenty, those are obvious, right? But then you have this study part in between. What the hell is that? That's basically, studying everything that's going to make your training better. So you train hard and you eat and sleep plenty, right? You learn from that. If something goes wrong, you learn from that, right? And you try to discover new things, new ways of eating, new ways of getting better sleep, new ways of training hard or to prevent injury. That's studying, you know, that's useful knowledge that's going to help you on your journey. So I feel like if you protect those 4 rules, you'll be like good to go and make progress, right? But anyway, that's it for today's training. I think I mentioned it 100 times already, but very happy with how it went. I'm gonna have some dinner, and then I'll see you tomorrow for a push day, I believe. Yes, let's go. Ooh, my hamstrings are fucking dead.